I don't feel I have anything to say. I feel that life, I guess my overall feeling is life is sort of absurd. It's absurd where I am. Don't you ever wake up, Larry, and feel it's absurd where you are in life?
The whole thing is weird.
The whole thing, yeah.
Hey, Norm, are you in therapy at all?
No.
Really?
Psychotherapy?
Yeah. Have you ever, sat with a therapist and...
No, I don't believe in psychotherapy.
You don't?
No.
Really? Why is that?
Because I've read psychotherapists.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with their...
Do you do your own psychoanalysis?
I have my own beliefs.
Right. But do you spend a lot of time in, sort of self-reflection and...
Yes.
Do you?
I ruminate.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a theory that people are in deep denial of death.
Right.
And I'm not.
You know you don't want to.
No, I think most people don't think they're going to die.
Well, you know it's funny that you say that, because just even in the last week, I'm like, nobody really thinks they're going to die.
Yeah.
You just can't get your head around it because you're so busy living.
Right.
You're like,
it's almost impossible
to
comprehend.
Right.
And everything you see is living. Even if someone else dies, it's always a shock because they've always been alive. Yeah. So it's very hard. It is a hard thing to wrap your mind around. I'll be doing a lot of this at Cobb's Comedy Club.
Are you a happy person, in general?
Am I what?
Are you a happy person? Because you always have a slight smile, but it's, are you a sad person?
No, I mean, I think things are funny, so I laugh a lot.
But that doesn't necessarily translate into, happiness.
Well, if I'm laughing, I'm happy, I guess.
Where do you live?
I live in Southern California.
Do you have a nice house?
No, I live in a very small apartment.
You have an apartment?
Yes.
Oh. I'm surprised that you don't have, a big, you're Norm Macdonald.
Well, I don't like things.
Oh.
I never have.
Really?
No, I've always felt very burdened down by them.
Do you have a pet?
The only thing I can't throw away is when my child gets me a present.
Yes.
So I have those things, but otherwise I just have a...
How old is your kid?
A bed. What?
You don't just have a bed.
Well, I have
you have a coffee pot.
No, I don't.
A teapot?
No. I don't have... I always eat
a microwave?
I always eat at Joe's Diner that's near my apartment.
Is this all true, or are you making this up?
No,
you just can't tell because he's got that grin on his face.
No. So you bring a girl home or a friend over, and there's no place for... What?
I don't have sex with girls or men.
Wait a minute. Norm Macdonald. Norm, you're a sexy dude.
Yeah, but I don't have...
And you never go out trolling.
I mean,
no
I
girl.
have had sex.
Well, I
Well,
realize you're not a virgin. You've got a kid.
No.
When's the last time you had sex?
Probably 10 years ago.
Shut up.
Yeah, I have sex. I have sex by masturbating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Copernicus.
Well, I don't know if they're opening new evidence. When I hear Stephen Hawking say there is no God, I go, what kind of scientist is that? I mean, I heard him say that. I heard him say there is no God. It's a fairy tale. That's not a scientist to me.
Well, that's one scientist. So the scientific community is everybody.
Stephen Hawking's.
Yeah.
That's the preeminent physicist in the entire world, is saying something out of obvious prejudice.
Did you hear the whole quote, or is this like an Adam Carolla thing?
No, I didn't hear the whole quote. No,
you read it on Facebook.
No, I did not hear the whole quote, to be fair. But I was kind of shocked that that science says we've given up. I don't know when scientists started saying things were unknowable, but that's a new one on me, because that's not a scientific term as far as I know. Unknowable?
But I find sex very repetitive and dull and kind of pointless.
Your kid, this is a bit.
No, it's not.
Norm Macdonald.
I had a lot of sex when I was a young man. When I was 19 or 20, I had a lot of sex. And it's just the same thing over and over.
Right, it feels really good. So start from the beginning and do it again. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Is it too much work dealing with
ice cream? Eating ice cream is really good too until you're tired of it. You know.
Then the next day you try a different flavor. There's thousands of flavors of ice cream.
But not of women.
Do you?
No, but I'm saying there's
that question answers itself.
I'm saying there's fun and maybe not fun, but you obviously want to give back everything you know.
I didn't take anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I earned it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true. Do you think there's a God, or?
I think there's something that makes good people, makes good things happen to good people in the most general sense. Obviously, bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people. But I think in general, if you're a good-hearted person, a generous person, a kind person, things will go better for you. And I think that's kind of the cash register of the universe. If that's God, okay, but I don't think of a guy. People they gave you that guy idea, the old guy.
Sure. Well, why? Yeah, how would we know his nature?
Yeah.
But when I look into your eyes, though, I'm not joking.
I've never had a talk show host say that to me.
When I look into your eyes, I see.
And I've done hundreds of talk shows.
I see an eternal being.
Thank you, Norm. A lovely thing to say.
So, do you think there is such a thing?
And as what? As a supreme being?
No, an eternal being.
I think we all are.
Oh, I
think we're all in different chapters of an endless story.
I think so too.
Well, there you go.
I used to do that kind of stuff, but
what happened?
I came to the realization that we're all plunging headlong into
Somebody
death.
hurt you. Who cares? So that's why you should live. You only have so long, and then you're going to croak.
If you're plunging down an abyss into headlong into death, the idea of grabbing onto another human being just to touch them for a moment on your way seems futile to me. It seems more pathetic than facing it. Just to me, personally. I don't condemn people for doing it, but I like looking, I try to look at life square in the eye, as terrifying as it is, and it is the most terrifying thing there is.
What, being alive?
Yeah.
But
because
it's
being
not.
alive means dying.
But Norm, that is such a fatalistic way to look at it. There's so much in life that you are denying yourself, and I think that you have reasons for it. But if you don't have someone that you could, do you ever cry? Do you cry all by yourself?
You do?
There's no one that you can call. You need a therapist.
Oh, no.
You need to be in therapy. I think somebody broke you. Somebody either hurt you or broke your heart, or you were betrayed by a friend. You don't trust people. You won't let anybody get close to you. You hide it all behind the smiling clown.
No one did anything to me. I was just...
The smiling, somewhat mean-spirited behind the smiling clown.
No one did anything to me. I was just...
The smiling, somewhat mean-spirited clown.
No one did anything to me. I was just born alone.
You weren't broken when you were born.
Live alone and I'll die alone, just like my father did. And
he didn't. He had kids. At one point, he was married. He opened
died
himself
alone,
up for it.
though.
Why did he die alone?
Because everyone dies alone.
Where did he die?
All you can hope for is someone watching you die, but I don't really.
Well, you won't have that because you don't have any friends.
No, I don't want to see. I don't want someone to watch me die.
You just said you want your mother to miss her bridge game and come and put her hand on yours.
Well, that's when I'm in a vegetative state in order to stay alive. You know what I mean? Anything to stay alive.
You know, I was confused by you last time you were on here. I was like, what are his motivations?
Well, wouldn't you like to stay alive? Wouldn't you like to live forever?
Not really.
Well, you're only saying that because it's impossible.
Because I know it's impossible. However, I'll tell you something. If a vampire came along right now and could give me immortality, I would totally go for it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially with those superhuman strengths that they have. Listen,
plus they're sexy.
I'm taking some calls for you.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
like, for instance, I'll tell you this. For instance, if you see an atheist, you will never see an atheist argue that God doesn't exist because the tenets of Scientology are absurd. They will always pick Christianity. So it's very interesting that they choose the God that they decide doesn't exist, which means really they're choosing the God they think exists.
And you are you're shattering my image of you. Like you could be a player. Like you could have whatever you want, and clearly you want nothing, and you just want to be depressed. You're depressed.
No, I'm not
you
depressed
need to
at
see
all.
someone.
I'm in no ways depressed. But having nothing and having something are exactly the same thing.
What are you reading, Carlos Castaneda?
I don't know who that is.
Those are some books you should read.
Okay. But all I'm saying is, since eternity, since life is, if you know mathematics, a fraction of infinity is zero, no matter what the fraction is. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You could live 100 years, 1,000 years, 1 billion years. It's all zero if it's on a continuum of eternity. So it doesn't matter what you do or what you don't do.
So why don't you go crazy? Why don't you go effing crazy?
I don't go crazy.
Sounds like you
I
have.
don't go crazy because I don't allow myself the
any fun or joy in your life. I forgot about that part.
I don't allow myself the delusions that other people allow themselves. So I know you have to go crazy in some way to survive life, but I try to not do that.
Steve, you're on the air with allegedly not crazy Norm Macdonald.
You were talking about Dangerfields in New York on the break, during the break. And
the whole show is the break, by the way.
You described it as a fly on some Robert Frostian phrase he used.
I went into Dangerfields the other night to take the stage and perform and kind of see what the place was like these days. And it's like a frozen in time place. I said it was like a fly in a piece of amber.
Like a fly in a piece of amber. How about that, huh? No, I think that's beautiful.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
There was no mocking or anything.
You have an eternal look in your eyes.
Well, we're all eternal beings, aren't we? And if we look at each other like that, how could we ever turn down a homeless person's request for something?
I think you could. I could.
You could, huh?
Yes. I don't think it's helping these people.
You never
sometimes.
walked past a homeless person and they're begging you as a fellow human being for something and you ignore them and you maybe feel some evil bile come up?
No, sometimes I think if I give this person money, I'm kind of agreeing that you can't get out of this situation.
Well, what if they can't?
I don't know if they can or they can't.
Well, my mom had it.
Oh, yeah. It's good to be checked for everything. My God.
And after to bring it full circle here, after you get checked for something like a colonoscopy or MS or whatever, it gives you a new lease on life for at least a month, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's that, like, you walk out and the grass looks a little greener, and and then God is everywhere, and then a couple days pass, and you're carping about the butcher didn't give you enough goddamn pork. You wanted a full loin, and the guy only gave you a quarter. If only we could stop with these little tiny things and this preposterous gadgetry that we're talking into, and just for a moment, think about real stuff.